All right, guys, we're live. All right, we're here to talk both basketball and wrestling, but first of all, let's take care of business. If you haven't already subscribed, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the like button while you're thinking about it. It's right there in the front of you. And share it. And please comment during the show if you can. We'd like it. And if you comment after it's on a replay, that's fine too. I'll come in and answer your questions. And I saw we lost our only viewer, but he's back. All right, guys, let's start with the news of the day. We've been following. We went to bed last night thinking that DeVries had been offered the job. Okay, everybody's excited. Hawkeye Nation's jumping for joy. They can hardly sleep, and they get up to the news this morning that he was no longer a candidate for the job, and all kinds of people, national people, everybody we respect, starts reporting that he's a head candidate for Indiana, which became true about an hour and a half ago. He actually took the job at Indiana. So let's start here. Where do we go from here, guys?
We got to find a good coach. We got to fill the arena. And then we got to fill the arena all the time. It was funny that when you invited me to come on here earlier today, I was in the middle of filling out a survey for the Hawks, Carver, and whatnot, asking, everything that's right and wrong with the world. What am I thinking? Little background. Yeah, we moved back in 2000, offered. I didn't even try to get tickets because when we left Iowa, went to Wisconsin for 10 plus years, you couldn't get in the arena. So I didn't even try to get tickets when I came back because, what the hell?
And just assumed that they were sold out.
Well, yeah, they were always sold out. You could wedge yourself in there when Davis was there, and I wasn't a big donor, so I wasn't on any priority list that was going to get me any tickets. And Steve came on the radio and said, "Hey, you need to buy season tickets." I'm like, "What?" So I got tickets. I got a letter from him thanking me for attending every game that year. And then I actually got myself moved down into pretty good seats. And then, he's gone and went and got Licklider. Watched him lose. I actually went to a Sweet 16 game and watched Butler lose to Miami. That was before I knew he was going to be our coach. So, all right, came home. Yeah, they hired him. All right, here we go. And then, but he got handed nothing. Nobody. I mean, that was an empty cupboard when he came in and didn't go well. So then I spent a few years sitting with maybe 300 of my closest friends in Carver watching the game.
I like that. 300 of my closest friends.
There you go. 300 of my closest friends. What are the ones that showed up? I showed up to one game. I live in Cedar Rapids, half hour north of Iowa City, and I showed up to a game where they were giving tickets away to the students because the weather was so bad they didn't expect anybody to show up. So it was me and a bunch of students. I crawled down 380 at like 30 miles an hour to get there in time, and it was ugly. But I got there, and so my tickets have walked through that door. Most of the time with me, handing them to people. A few times if I do have to miss a game, being out of town or something, to make sure that whoever I give my tickets to goes in there. And I had one idiot that couldn't get a friend to go with him, so he just didn't go.
Like, oh, really?
So he's not getting my tickets. In 25 years that my tickets didn't walk in there. So, all right, great. Yeah. You watch them do it. So the survey the university sent me got an earful because I hate the environment in there. The place, I swear the fact that the only time we fill that arena up is when we play Iowa State, and that's because a third of the crowd is Iowa State fans. It's like, this is so pathetic. And the orange crush shows up. That's always a game, and then so I just think that they've put too much stuff around the concourse that if you actually go in there, and I have to walk all the way around the arena to get out the door to go back to the thing, and it's just bottlenecks every place. You run into the Hawk shop, you run into whatever, there's so much junk around the top of the concourse. So,
Okay.
maybe that's
Bronco
what
Gray
people want
says
to go
hello.
in.
Yeah. I was just going to interrupt you for just a minute. Bronco Gray says hello from Branson, Missouri. This is either my daughter, granddaughter, or my wife because they're in Branson, Missouri right now.
Oh, awesome.
Well, my wife is actually on here as herself, so I'm glad that they're watching. Oklahoma fan here.
Yeah, they charge now. They start charging seat licenses. When Fran showed up, it's like, that's great, but the students don't show up anymore. They don't even care about basketball. I mean, the only time they'd show up was like an ESPN game because they want to on TV. But even ESPN, I don't know. Do we even know one that was covered by them this year? I don't know. But
why don't the students show up anymore? Why don't they? Because they show up. They show up plenty for football, and they show up for women's basketball.
Well, women's basketball is good.
Oh, and wrestling too.
Yeah.
And wrestling, yeah. We got wrestling's always full. I don't worry about them. But the cost, something. I mean, because they showed up the time that they said, okay, just come here with your student ID, we'll let you in. But there's been several games, I swear, we probably lost because we only had 5,000 people in the arena.
Oh,
okay. Instead of offering,
and you started out going to Hawkeye games in the field house, and that place was a snake pit, much like Hilton is. The fans are just on top of the thing, and it was noisy. Those steel bleachers, you can make that place just ring.
I know.
Harbor, when it's full,
the few games that I
very
went
noisy.
Few games I went to in the field house, I came out with a headache so bad.
Oh yeah, because we were students there the year that we went to the Final Four, and I can remember the year that we went to the Final Four where Indiana won the national championship, but we beat them in Bloomington, and we beat them in Iowa City, and I was, it had the bleachers up here where I sat. The next year I had underneath the bleachers. Oh my God, that was so loud, and these people jumping on those things. But that was a snake pit. But that was just, you couldn't hear yourself think in there.
Yeah.
And then, we moved to Carver. Actually heard somebody dribble the ball and a shoe squeak on the floor. Never heard that in the field house. It was always just, even when it was quiet, it was noisy. But Carver,
that's because when we built Carver, we promised all the best seats to those high rolling dollar people. So we had all those people who are probably your age and my age now, sitting where the students should be sitting on their hands. And we lost that game. The very first game in Carver, we lost. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Michigan State, I was there, sitting clear up in the top, because that's where I could get in. But yeah, with the money floating around in college now, can we compete? That's
I don't know if we can. Yeah. Well, okay. We mentioned this before we went on that Fran said he had 1.5 million to work with. He needed 6 million to compete in the Big Ten. Apparently, we offered DeVries 2.5 million to work with, and of course, that's not enough to compete either. But we're giving him more money than we offered Fran. So we fire Fran and then offer the next guy more money. Why don't we just give that money to Fran to help him out a little bit?
Yeah. If you're willing to buy him out for 4.2 million, seems like you ought to be able to buy yourself a pretty good team for them.
Yeah, not only that, but they also had to spend $4 million to buy out DeVries out of his contract. Yeah. So, okay, guys, I want to hear from you guys. Your guys' new number one choice that you want to see coaching this team next year, and Byron, since you actually go to these games, who would you like to see coaching these games and win?
God wouldn't.
Okay, he's dead. He's not coming.
Exactly. This player, 15, he comes in and flatlines. The fact that you got to find somebody that is going to just bring at least 5 really good players with it.
Who would be the
You know,
maybe 3 coaches that could coach at Iowa at the moment?
Well, everybody says that Ben McCollum. I'm not so sure I'm sold on him. I don't like that style of basketball. But people say that if he can win, I disagree with that because McCollum brings that deliberate, slow down style, and they're shooting the ball just as the clock is running out. But they are the most efficient offense in the nation. Okay, that one I'll give them credit for that. However, will that translate to the Big Ten, where you guys know the Big Ten is got some aggressive attacking defenses? You know, and Iowa's run into some of those defenses this year. Even Iowa State's defense, which didn't show up in the Big 12 tournament, but is aggressive. You know, there is no way that those kind of defenses are going to allow us to come down and move that ball around for 30 seconds and then shoot it, or 29 seconds and shoot it. What do you guys think about that?
well, and you watch the Big Ten finals,
Mm-hmm.
and those were, the 2 teams come out there with some good defense. Actually, both score the fewest points that scored in the first half because it's just, oh God, yeah.
I turned it off at halftime. I don't really know what the final score was, but I do know that neither one of them got out of the 20s in the first half.
Well, one of them barely got into the 20s. They got a little better in the second half and kind of put up some numbers, but Wisconsin got way ahead because they were just, all of a sudden the threes are going in and bam, they're up like 11, 12 points. And then they missed 3 threes and Michigan hit 3 threes. And suddenly now we're back to a game again. And then Wisconsin just pulled it. And the ref just, hey.
Okay, so who's more likely
to
to
be
be
into a really, really rough game? So when you talk about aggressive defenses, a lot of that's got to do with the ref. And I was stunned by this. I mean, absolutely stunned. There's a rule: coaches can't talk shit about the ref, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep your mouth shut. No, so they find ways to sort of say stuff around the edges. Sort of implied that the refs are full of shit, but not really say it to where you're going to get fined. And then it was towards the end of the season. That wasn't the Michigan State game. Yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but Bobby Hansen's in the locker room talking to him. So this is one of the games where Dick and Peyton Stanford just got shut down, right? And so Bobby's like, "Oh, okay. So what's happening there, coach? What are we gonna do?" And the coach's like, they got to quit getting grabbed or something like that. I mean, he just flat out said the other team is just grabbing these guys when they're going around screens and stuff. Just hanging on to them. Mm-hmm. And Bobby sort of like, it was just dead air for about 2 or 3 seconds where it's like, you gonna say something beyond? Like, that he said it, he's done. And I was just like, and after that, kind of tuned in watching, and there were times where guys would just, they go around a screen, and the defender would just, the one time my son just grabbing by the far head and just pull the defender right around the screen with him. He's climbing over the screen, just grab the guy, Dolph made the comment that Peyton's bicep were all scratched in the post-game interview. I mean, he just was just bleeding. They were scratches, just from getting grabbed. And and as long as you do that, then stronger teams win. So it's not about basketball. Then it's closer to wrestling.
Yeah.
Vandy
Vandy Chris says,
I'm stronger than you. I win. Kind
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah. Vandy Chris says, I can hear Luke telling them to stop getting grabbed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Vandy Chris
Luke,
is very, very knowledgeable, guys. I probably should have had him come on the show with us too. He's been texting some stuff all day too in that group chat. But okay, just kind of getting back to the current situation with no longer having Fran as our coach. God, I forgot where I was going with that.
you need to find a coach.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Do you guys think, in your opinion, that Beth tried hard enough to get this guy, or was she just limited with her resources, so it's not really her fault?
I think she should, personally. I think she should have waited. The Iowa, they were invited to the NIT and to another popular postseason basketball tournament in the season. I think they should have just waited and see what the outcome could have been with that. How long has Fran been with us? 15 years with all of his accomplishments. Out of respect, I think they just should have maybe kind of waited.
Honestly, I don't know that the kids didn't make that. The players themselves didn't make that decision because that might have postponed them getting into the, if they go to the Crown, they would have been playing at the end of March, 1st of April.
Okay.
And so I got a feeling that would limit them getting into the portal. I think we got 3 in the portal right now and a couple rumored to be headed that way. And 1 decommit from a recruit.
He was a big-time athlete, wasn't he?
Yeah, 4-star. They said that he was the most highest-rated player that Fran ever had as a recruit.
And keep in mind,
that doesn't mean that none of these guys can't come back.
Yeah.
Depending on the next coach. But if we're going to play defense and get athletic, and these guys apparently, one of the things I wanted to bring up was I could not figure out why Iowa is always fouling. And somebody went back and looked and said that Iowa has a history this year of fouling all the time. And you know how we used to go to the free throw line more than people made, and we'd make more than people attempted at other teams. This year it was the other way around. Like, and the loss to, who did we lose to? After we've got the Ohio State win. Who did we lose to?
Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah. They went to the line like 30, 40 times, and we went to the line 10. Okay. There's something wrong with that. And you would think that the refs have something out for our guys, but somebody went and looked and said, no, this is Iowa's MO this year. They are committing the fouls.
They weren't as big as a lot of guys, especially after Freeman got knocked out. And so, they get beat up. And then after a while, it starts to wear on you and you start grabbing instead of, playing defense with your feet. And you just get run over.
Vandy Chris, he's got another take here. Just so you guys know, he is a Vanderbilt fan, but grew up in Iowa and is an Iowa fan too. So he does have a lot of history and a lot of knowledge about what goes on.
Man.
Okay, he says, here's my take. For 50 years, Vanderbilt would not invest in athletics. Along comes Candace Story-Lee, Vandy AD, and she's able to get the administration to invest. This is all on Beth. And that's what I'm saying is did Beth swing hard enough? Because she obviously didn't hit a home run. Maybe she got herself to first base with a base hit. And it says if Beth failed to secure funding and buy-in from the administrations and boosters, she has to go. I was saying that earlier today. that this was her chance to shine and keep Hawkeye Nation happy and everything, and I think she failed.
First big decision, essentially.
Yeah. We let Indiana outbid us. For God's sakes, I know they got money. And they probably had Mark Cuban come in and invest in the basketball program. He invested in the football last year, and they probably called him up and say, hey, can you help us with the basketball? Sure. How much you need? $50 million will do it.
Oh, man, that's a yeah. Their football team's good once in a while, but their basketball team was something.
Yeah.
Just Bobby Knight and the whole thing.
Okay, it says Kelvin says if Beth gave DeVries $7 million, same as Kirk, she'd need to be fired. She's doing a great job. Okay. Kelvin is happy with everybody. He probably was happy with Fran too. I'm just kidding, Kelvin. I'm just kidding.
There was something going on this year because Fran. Nobody brought up the DEF CON Fran DEF CON whatever sale they had when he would fit and stuff, right? So, halfway through the season, I'm thinking, I see him over there, and he's getting mad, but he just wasn't getting animated. And, it was kind of normal, sort of just pleading with the ref here, you got to do, that kind of thing. And then halfway through the year, I'm like, man, this is really something. So I don't know if the AD or his doctor or somebody told him to just calm down or something.
That's
right?
what I was wondering. Yeah, and you were at the games the whole time, so you could see what we didn't see on camera. But on camera, they would show him, like, especially during a bad call, and he'd just stand there with his hands in his pocket. As I call playing pocket pool.
Plead with him. It was the hands never got above the waist kind of thing. Right?
So what happened in this last game that he finally lost his cookies?
Well, I'm going to talk about the Michigan State game, right?
Yeah.
And so the Michigan State game, where I sit behind the basket, and the players, parents, and Fran's family sit over here. So Margaret walks in front of us to go over to the tunnel, right? That's going to leave, whatever. Well, instead of going to the tunnel, she cuts up behind the bench, right? There's like timeout or something. And she's out there, and she is just leaning over the back of those seats, and she's going like this, and Fran has to come over, and they were just yelling at each other for something. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. Okay, Vandy wants us to watch something real quick.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it, though, Vandy. You're going to have to figure this out for me.
All right, so she comes back. And as she's walking back, all right, she's walking to her seat this way. And I don't know if I can do this and get this on camera, but she puts her hand over her head like this, and she does this to the ref as she walks by him, right? And it was he's standing there. Whoa! Do that, but it's really kind of subtle, just over kind of flip. Yeah, you walk by. And it's like, yeah, there's something going on. And then when he finally blew up and got kicked out of the Illinois game, I was like, well, okay, yeah, he must know it's over. And this is it. And it's his last chance to tell the ref what he thinks, because
Margaret probably talked to him afterwards and said, Fran, you need to get red face and lose it again. But and honestly, for Fran, he's lost it more than that and stayed in a game. And that's why I was so shocked. But it turns out that the guy who actually ejected him, the ref, was the same one that Margaret was, using the finger with. Let me see if I can get this to work real quick.
That crew, when they showed up, it was just like the game. You'd see them walk out of the tunnel. It's like, oh, here we go. Those guys were terrible. I'm not a college coach, so I can talk as much shit about the refs as I want, and they can't find me. But that crew, all year, every time they showed up, it was just like, oh my God, here we go. They just let whoever just beat you up, run over you, doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So do you guys think...
And come home and watch it on TV, was that as bad as I thought it was in real life? And a couple of times, like, no, okay, that was right. But a lot of times, like, yeah, that was 4 steps and it wasn't traveling kind of thing. Right? So,
yeah. I kind of wish that I could figure out how to play what Vandy wants us to watch, but I cannot. So sorry, Vandy.
Hang on, haven't played it to you. Put it on Facebook later.
Hang on. Maybe he.
Yeah, so we'll see who we get next year, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I'll be there next year. Now, whether 5,000, 10,000, or 15,000 show up with me, then who knows?
Yeah. One of the things today, and this was posted today. I'm not going to say her name, but her father and her brother were very involved with the Hawkeye program years ago. But her comment on Facebook to a comment I made that says, she goes, I can't remember the article I saw, but I believe he asked for improvements to be made for Carver or more NIL money, and all the AD said was, we will see what we can do. Oh, here, Vandy's on here real quick. Let me bring him on.
And come there. There you go.
Vandy, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Andy,
did you want to play this video that you want to?
Oh, I wasn't playing the video. I was saying, watch this. I'm jumping in the show.
Oh, you're crazy because you always know how to do that kind of stuff from behind the scenes. I wish I did.
Yeah. Should I share the picture that I showed you earlier today?
Sure. Go ahead.
Let me download it and add it in here real quick.
Okay. Guys, this is Vandy Chris. He does have his own podcast. What's it called?
Connoisseur of Hot Take.
I think he's got a couple of them, actually.
Yeah.
Sweep the Broom or Broom Sweep or
the Golden Broom podcast covering college baseball.
Okay.
It'll take a second just to find it.
All righty. Okay. All righty. God, I thought you had a video you wanted us to watch. And so I'm checking my private text messages to see if you're saying something to me. All right. So I'm going to talk about a couple other things then, too, while we're still on the subject.
So when we get a new head coach for basketball, realistically speaking, how many years would you give the head coach to see some kind of incremental improvements?
I think that window is a lot tighter than it used to be, because now you can just go out and pick them. You don't have to. All you got to do is recruit them in. You can recruit them from any other team. It's easy to just switch teams with.
No. Yeah.
It's closer to professional sports.
Look.
I won't say limit it to 1 year or 2 years, but if you don't see drastic improvement in year one, you're not on the right track. And when I say that, I look at a place like Missouri, who went 0-18 in the SEC last year, and they're a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament this year.
With the former Hawkeye.
Michigan, what Michigan did, they split last year, and now suddenly they win the Big Ten.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Same thing.
Given odds, which of the 3 schools looking for new coaches, Iowa, Minnesota, or Indiana, which one pulls the Michigan next year? I'm going to bet it's Indiana. Or maybe not.
Indiana, because by all accounts, they've got the money behind the program to go out and buy a whole new team.
Yeah.
And you look, I'm coming from my own perspective of what I've personally seen this year. You make a place like Vanderbilt, won 1 game in the SEC last year. They go out, they hire Mark Byington from James Madison. He replaces 14 out of 15 roster spots, and we're in the NCAA tournament this year. This team was finished 16th in the SEC this year. They finished 10th, tied for 10th. Massive improvement from what we've had. So you have to see change in year one.
Yeah, I believe it. I agree with that.
So, in speaking of Vanderbilt and firing their coach last year, I love that Kelvin Fisher is saying Mark Cuban, because Mark Cuban had a big deal to do with Vanderbilt getting a new coach, because he paid the buyout to fire the old coach at Vanderbilt and donated $15 million to Vanderbilt for NIL money. But
so this is your Jerry Stackhouse all year.
So this is something funny I've been messing with Dean and the guys with today. Say hello to your new coach, gentlemen. He's already dressed for the part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, would that be nice to see the coaches walk the sidelines in suit and ties again?
Remember when George Raveling used to wear sweatpants?
Yeah.
George,
I think he started that trend. I think he's the first one to get rid of the suit and tie and use.
He was one of the first.
Yep.
The guy could recruit, and this is a human being. That guy was he was just he was a great coach. I enjoyed his short tenure and appreciated the fact when he was gone, he left Tom Davis with a lot of good players.
He did.
He could recruit, but he couldn't coach, because
yeah.
all those guys were big time athletes, and trying to run that slow down, slow paced junk that he had them running. That's the first thing Tom Davis did when he came in there. He turned them loose, full court press,
Yeah.
Where
10 guys and just run them ragged.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what was my favorite part of that he did was putting Brad Lowhouse at the head of that press. You know, the guys had a hard time getting the ball in on that 7-footer.
Yeah, back in the days when you could actually guard the guys like this instead of making them stand way the hell back.
Yeah.
Every time we knocked the ball out of bounds, it was a chance to steal it.
Yeah. No, and Tom Davis did. I mean, his best year, he came within a couple of points or a few seconds of the Final Four, and so.
So who is everybody's favorite to get the job now that DeVries is out?
I don't have one because I don't want Ben McCollum. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you speak. Go ahead, Jared. You haven't said much.
Well, I don't follow basketball as much as I follow wrestling, so I mean, I'm not familiar with the sport. I mean, even on the college level.
Yeah, and I just hope somebody is more tuned in to everybody else, and go find me a coach.
But what's the difference?
I
mean, what's the difference between Fran and Tom Davis?
One won and the other one didn't.
I mean, that's probably a good criticism I have of Fran. He's been there for 15 years. He's had some really good teams. He produced some really good players, like Luka Garza, probably the best player he produced, and yet they couldn't even make it to a Sweet 16. Why?
What do you mean? They couldn't even make it past the first round.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I had to say that.
You think about the Murray twins and Garza. Garza was amazing because he stuck around. But
Wiseman.
But those guys just float off. There they go. Davis didn't really have the NBA to lose to. So when he got good players in there, they played.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a few like NBA players kind of sprinkled in there, but had a lot of just like good talent. So that you five go in there and run them ragged, and you five go in there and run them ragged, and then you guys and they would get 20 points down in the first half and win all those games because the other team get off their knees in the second half from chasing us all over the place.
His last team was the Sweet 16 team, the last time we've been to the Sweet 16. And that team was not as loaded with talent. I mean, when you think about that team was just a team. They're working together and they're working for one cause. They were working for their coach. And so. But anyway, Vandy, who's your pick?
So I'll be honest with you. I think it has to be Ben McCollum.
Okay.
And I feel your point of view that you think it's too slow when it won't work in a Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, as somebody whose team played against them this year,
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt has a really good. They're fast. Their guards are really quick. They shoot the lights out of the three. They got some bullies in the post that just bully people around, and Drake ran them out of the gym. That style that they play is effective. Their efficiency on the offensive end is incredible. They're running their offensive efficiency is insane.
According to Jason, who published it in our group chat today, they're number one in the nation in offensive efficiency.
And defensive turnover, they're one of the top 3 teams in the country in forcing turnovers defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see them against Missouri, to see how they do. I do have them beating Missouri, so I do believe a little bit in Drake.
I'll be surprised if they don't beat Missouri by 10 or more.
Okay. All righty. What about this guy from Utah State? First year in the league. He beat Iowa earlier in the year. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he's supposed to be a great candidate too.
Was only there for a year already or something. One of the guys that they didn't know we'd go after that. Oh, he'd been successful, but he'd only been at the other school for 1 year, so didn't know job hopping would look good on your long-term resume.
Okay. What about Ryan Bowen? He's not had any head coaching experience, but I keep hearing his name pop up, including one of our good friends from the Hawkaholics tonight.
I don't think you should. As a Power 5 school, you should not be hiring coaches that don't have any head coaching experience.
And I agree with that.
Nice to, get the old Hawkeyes back here. They're in for it, but at the same time, we can recruit guys from Ottawa for the most part. I mean, even Iowa State wants to go out and just grab players from all over the place because that's how you become successful, And so we see somebody like Hayden Fry when he came in, a bunch of guys out of, that kind of thing. So you got to have somebody that's got a bigger reach than here because we just don't, big state really as far as that goes, and homegrown talent doesn't really get you to the top of the Big Ten. It can help you, pick a few players up, but that was.
Says he's an NBA assistant coach who helped make his team to a 2023 championship, coached a multiple-time MVP for the Nuggets. I still think you got to coach at least assistant coach in the Big Ten, so you get a feel for it. I know he played in the Big Ten, but the Big Ten he played in is totally different than the Big Ten today is.
Did DeVries turn down Indiana?
No, but Indiana apparently doesn't want him. Indiana fans. No, I was going to say something too, especially why we don't have the money, because we should have the money because there are 4,000 people who didn't use their tickets this year that they had. Okay. They said the average paid attendance was 9,000 some, but the average actual tickets through the door was 4,000 something or 5,000 something. Okay. That means that these people who threw away their hard-earned money on season tickets and
Gross, man. Right. So we had a couple sitting beside us, season ticket holders for 4, 5, 6 years maybe that didn't buy their tickets again this year. I didn't see them there. That they would, they'd come to like 4 Big Ten games and that was it. I used to be able to have friends. Yeah, just buy a couple tickets. You can sit down next to them. Never.
Here we're all back now. We're back.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. I just kept talking. I don't know if you guys heard me or not.
Throws up.
Okay. Kelvin says that the fans are upset. I'm not using the word.
Do they want
I
another?
I don't know what YouTube allows. Okay.
So
Alrighty. What's that?
With your numbers, you said the average ticket sales was 9,000.
Average attendance was like 5,000. So that shows me right there that these people wasted their money by not showing up. So why don't they just took that money and put it in the swarm? They've obviously got the money to waste, because I'm not buying season tickets and paying whatever it costs for season tickets and then not going to the games. I'm going to at least resell them to somebody.
So right there's the problem.
Okay, talk to me.
It's attendance.
You're leaving 6,000 seats unsold.
Yep.
Because it seats 14,009. So you're leaving 6,000 seats unsold.
Yeah. Well, that's for the Iowa State game.
And then you're leaving 10,000 seats empty on game night.
Yeah.
There's the problem. If you can't bring the fans in and put a good product on the floor, they're not going to come see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to say that Fran didn't help his own cause. He didn't go to the public. He didn't ask for swarm money. He didn't go to the community events. And all the stories I'm hearing about the iClub circuit, because all the media people go to that, is that he would do his spiel and then leave within 5 minutes. And the Lisa, Tom Brands, and Kirk Ferentz would stand there and give their time and talk to the fans that were there, talk to the iClub members that were there at these little iClub get-togethers. And so if that's true, and then they said, like, one time all of them went together, Fran sat in the car and waited for them to get done.
Not a way to bring boosters on board. And they've been burnt so much by that mess that they're not willing to step out right now.
Right.
Until
they stopped by Alford, though, who walked right past me at the Cedar Rapids Airport in an open hallway with my wife and I, and the coach coming the other direction, and said, "Hi, coach." And he was not looking at his phone. This kind of before phone. He just never even diverted his gaze over to see who was talking to it. Just walked right past it.
I had a thing happen to me in the Oklahoma airport last December. I'm sorry. Okay, we're talking over each other.
Audio's getting weird.
Audio's definitely getting weird. No, but I had a thing happen to me at the Oklahoma City airport back in December when we were on a delay. And I was wearing my Iowa jacket, and I'm walking down, and somebody says, "Go Hawks!" I look at him, and I go, "Are you a Hawkeye fan?" He goes, "I'm more than a Hawkeye fan. I played football for him." And so he was a wide receiver, but he didn't play a lot until his senior year, and even then he didn't play a ton. And so I told him I was going to look him up, and he's promised to come on the podcast sometime. And he's a Hayden Fry guy. And so, yeah. Anyhow, so I think this might be a good place to end the basketball segment. I want to move on to wrestling. You guys are welcome to stick for wrestling, or you guys can go out if you want to. But Jared and I got wrestling, and Vandy, it's up to you too.
Okay, my life's going to be gone here pretty soon. So
okay.
Hey, nice to meet you, Byron.
Nice to meet you, Jared. Good to talk to you guys. Have fun.
All righty. Talk to you again later.
Been good talking to you guys. I figured I'd jump in and join that basketball talk. I'll probably go ahead and jump out and start working on my baseball show for later tonight. Nice meeting you, Jared.
Andy, nice to meet you.
Look forward to talk to you all again.
All right. Take care.
Sure.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
All righty. So we're gonna get into basketball now. Not basketball. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into wrestling. So let's just start out with. Let me go over the seeds real quick. I know you didn't get a lot of chance to say, but you're gonna make up for it now here and pretty quick.
Usually,
Alrighty.
best to start.
I got this. What's that?
Usually for wrestling, it's just best to start at each weight class. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time at each weight class, depending on the seeding. So, like there's no time to spend at because we have no Hawkeyes representing 141. Iowa's only sending 9 out of the 10 weight classes. You got some teams like Penn State, Oklahoma State, UNI. They're sending all 10 wrestlers, so it's going to be really challenging for Iowa to place to get that number 2 spot. Let's be real. No one's beating Penn State this year. Okay. Penn State could have a team where they have 10 All-Americans. They'd be the second team in NCAA Division I history to accomplish that. The first team is the Minnesota Gophers back in 2001.
Was Jay Robinson still the coach then?
Jay Robinson left a while ago. There's a new head coach. You can't think of his name at the time, but keep in mind, let's see if I can find that. They had 10 All-Americans, but 0 national champions, 0 runner-ups. So everyone plays from 3rd place down to 8th place.
Okay. So what is Iowa's record for All-Americans in one season?
Records for All-Americans?
Yeah. Do you know?
You probably have to go back to the 1997 Dan Gable magical team. I believe they had 9, maybe 8 or 9. I know West Hand of Iowa was only a freshman heavyweight. He did an All-American. He was only 1 match away from being an All-American, so I do remember that. So,
yeah. So, I do remember when Dan Gable, they had 8 or 9 All-Americans, and the press was asking him, telling him, "Oh yeah, you should really love that." And he goes, "I'm not satisfied until I have 10."
I mean, usually that's always been his standard. Like, oh, I only have 9 All-Americans. I want 10. I want more.
Yeah. And so how many All-American potentials do we have this year? Because of the seedings, we don't have very many.
No, it's going to be really, really challenging. So let's start at 125, where it's our lowest seed, Joey Cruz. Let's see. I'm at 125 right now. I'm just trying to find him.
Yeah, he's got the 29th seed. And this is a guy who had the 5th seed in the Big Ten tournament.
And he's got the most losses going into this weight class. He's got 12 losses. He's 14-12. So he had a roller coaster of a season. But he's going up against number 4 seeded Vincent Robinson of North Carolina State, 18-3. I'm trying to be as optimistic and realistic as possible. More than likely, he's not going to win that class. So if he gets knocked to the backside, to the blood rounds, he's going to have to win a couple of matches to help Iowa get that number 2 spot.
Yeah, get some points for us. That's the sad part about it is because I don't expect Joey Cruz to be in the 125 spot next year. I expect that to be whatever his first name is, Ayala, the little brother, Drew
Ayala from Fort
I
Dodge.
expect him to have that spot. I expect him to have that next year because Drake will probably come back at 133.
Yeah. And keep in mind that Tom Brands, he will utilize the transfer portal. There's actually an Iowa State wrestler who's actually, I think he is a 125 pounder. He threw his name into the transfer portal already. So he will utilize it. So who knows what 125 is going to be next year.
Okay. Alcoholic says, I see Ayala winning the crown this year and Buchanan will get second. Honestly, I think both Ayala and Buchanan win.
Okay.
I really do.
133. So Drake, Ayala, he's got a 2-loss record. He's getting the number 2 seed. His second loss was to Lucas Bird, Illinois, 18-1. He's given the number 1 seed. But Drake's earlier season loss was to Stanford's. He made the tournament if I can find him. Tyler Knox. He's got a 13 seed. He's on the upper side of the bracket. So more than likely, as long as Drake keeps winning, he won't meet him, I'm assuming, in the future.
Okay.
I mean, this is a weight class I'm predicting we're going to have a rematch of the Big Ten Finals. I'm predicting it's going to be Lucas Bird versus Drake Ayala, and hopefully
this time we get him. This time we get him. He'll get him. There's no way Ayala is going to let himself get pinned this time. He would have won that match if he had not got pinned.
His head was down, head hunting, been over that.
So hopefully Brands and team are working on that with him, not to do that again.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to skip 141 since there's no Hawkeyes, but 149, the transfer from Arizona State, Parco.
Parco.
Where are you? I believe you were given a 5. So yeah,
He's number 5. He's number 5. Yeah, I got him right here.
20-3. So in some of those 3 losses he had, they were like he got beat pretty badly too. But he's like he is a returning 4-time All-American. This is his last season here in Iowa. He can have a deep run. I really do believe he could definitely meet, probably if the seedings hold out, Panero Johnson of ISU. He can beat that. He can beat him. I mean, 25-4. I mean, very close matches. He can make it to semis, but more than likely he's going to have number 1 and undefeated Caleb Hansen of Vatek. So he's going to have to wrestle lights out. But
I mean, what did Parco finish last year? Because he was a returning All-American, right?
Yes, I believe he finished 4th last year for Arizona State. But I do believe he should, make it to the stand on Saturday. He should be placing somewhere in the top 8. Hopefully, he'll make a final. But Caleb Hansen, I believe he is a returning national champion from Vatek. But let's see. On the bottom side of the half, you got Shane Van Ness, 20-2, who got second in the Big Ten. You got Ridge Lovett, Nebraska, 22, the Big Ten champ. So, to be honest, Parco, he's in a very favorable position. He's on the top side of the bracket, away from those other people. Okay,
all righty. So he has a chance to make the semis.
Well, good chance making the semis, yes.
Okay, now here's one I don't like. At 165, Caliendo at the 3 seed, which means that if he makes it to the semis, he'll have to meet the number 1 guy who beat him before.
No, Michael Caliendo with the 3 seed. The 3 and the 2 seed meet in the semis.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And
yeah.
The 3 seed because Payne Hall, West Virginia, Big 12 champion. He's 30-1, only 1 loss.
Okay.
And Caliendo, he only lost to 1 person, but 2 losses to Michael Messerbrink, the returning national champ last year, Big Ten champ. I mean, I'm more than confident. If there's a weight class where Iowa will have a wrestler in the finals, I'm more than confident this is going to be the weight class.
Oh, Caliendo, 165?
Yes. And we did skip 157.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yep.
I guess it's because I'm so mad at Teamer for working himself into an 18 seed. I think this guy's better than that, though. I think if he comes in healthy and has the right mindset, he could surprise some people. And this 18 seed, he's going to have some work to do, but I think he can get there.
I still think he can surprise some people. His first round match, I do believe he should get past number 15 seed, Johnny Lovett, Central Michigan University, 30-5. I think he's talented enough. He's a returning national finalist, runner-up. Got the talent, but then he's going up against Meyer Shapiro, the number 2 seed, Cornelia. He got 3rd last year at nationals. He's 11-1 right now.
But I think what we forget is Teamer's a talented guy. He's struggled with some health issues, and they're saying that he showed up at the Big Tens in a shoulder harness. This guy, we've seen him wrestle when he's healthy. He's very aggressive and scores points. And I think he can do that again if he comes in healthy. I really do.
And it also depends on his mindset, how confident he is, how much can he just ignore pain. But here's a little bit of hope for everybody. All of his losses were in overtime, so they've been close. But whether it's been a ride out or a late takedown in overtime, that's all of his losses. All 4 of his losses have been OT.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for him is I think he had a takedown at the last second against him once, and I think somebody just got an escape on him at once or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I'm saying is it seems like the Iowa wrestlers can't hang on. They're always giving up points as the clock is winding out. You know, that of course Brands throws out the brick.
Yeah, the challenge brick and just tries to get. Yeah, he will try to get inside the referee's mind a little bit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, I have a question for you, but I want to finish these things first. And Hawkaholic, I will ask him the question you're asking.
Yes, yeah. We've been talking about this.
Yeah. Okay. We got Kennedy at 174 with 11 seed. This is a returning All-American from last year, right?
Patrick,
did he last year? I can't remember.
France, he was a returning All-American, but he got busted with that gambling, so he had to sit out a year of eligibility.
Sat out last year.
So as 174, I believe Patrick Kennedy he made nationals, but he didn't place. He's capable. He's actually in a very favorable draw right now. He could actually make it to the semis. To be honest, he's definitely. Let's see. He was given the 11 seed. Yes, Patrick Kennedy. So his first round match is against Nick Incontrera of Pennsylvania, 22-6. I mean, Patrick Kennedy. He's one of those wrestlers that's trying to put on bonus points. He's he's looking to score more points continuously. But oh yeah, okay, because he's got the 11 seed. So if he happens to upset Brevin Casella, number 6 seed of Bing.
Okay. I have no idea what that is, but
yeah.
Some of these schools, like we're going to be talking about. Was it 197 or 184?
97. Oh, I'm saving myself for that one. But
okay, all right, 184. Cabe Arnold also 11th, but when we saw him wrestle as a freshman, we had a different opinion of him, and I kind of thought he might come in and kick some butt this year, but it turns out that he's a little too short, I guess is what I'm hearing. Well, that his height has been the knockout.
Well, he's a 174 pounder. He's moving up a weight class. The only reason why he's wrestling 184 because he's pretty much the best guy at that weight class, and he's proven it. He's beaten some really good wrestlers like Ed Ruth of Illinois, and
but Angelo Ferrari upset the number 1 wrestler at that weight.
But the thing is, Arnold has already burned a red shirt from last year, so it makes sense that you have to have Angelo burn a red shirt this year, and then bring him in at 84 at the beginning of next year, and Arnold go back down to 174.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen, I think. All right. How about Buchanan, 197, and some interesting storylines in this one.
The storm. This is the perfect storm that could be brewing for literally this weight class. The top 5 seeds, they could win a national title. We'll go from the top to the number 5 seed. Jacob Cardenas, Michigan, 20-1. His one loss is to Stephen Buchanan, but he won the Big Ten champion and got that revenge match, which is why he got the number 1 seed. He could face Josh Barr, Penn State, 16-3, or the number 5 seed Michael Beard of Lehigh, 20-1. So those 3 right there, top side, they could find themselves in the final. Then number 2 seed Stephen Buchanan, his one loss is to Jacob, Michigan, but the returning national champion, the number 3 seed, the only undefeated wrestler at this weight class, AJ Ferrari.
Former Hawkeye. Well, not really. He never really became a Hawkeye.
But here's
the story. You want to talk about the story behind what's going to make this interesting?
Yes. So if he wins his first round match, hopefully there's going to be another former Hawkeye wrestler at 197, Zach Glazier of South Dakota State University. Kind of rough, 16-6. But remember, back at the Soldier Salute last year, those 2 wrestled in the finals, and it was a close match. It was in overtime, but AJ Ferrari got the takedown. There was a little shove or something. Zach Glazier responded. All of a sudden, AJ snapped. That's when we saw the fans booed or whatever. Double middle fingers.
Yeah.
Crowd.
Doing the splits,
disqualified from that. Yeah, Zach Glazier won the match by disqualification.
Right. Okay, now is there another former Hawkeye in that weight class, or is there another Hawkeye in another weight class? Because I've been reading, and I know there's one at Iowa State, and I think another South Dakota State guy is also a former Hawkeye that could wrestle another Hawkeye.
Oh, I think that might be actually one of the lower weight classes. If I can find that real quick. I don't think it's 133.
I have to go back and look at the.
Yes, I would have to go back and look at that too. I'm just on a roll with all these others, but yeah. Since we're talking about Iowa State, man, it just looks really bad for them. Like, I don't even think they're going to have a single person make it to the finals. They may have a few All-Americans, but I think they're going to finish outside the top 10.
You think so?
I think so. But should we continue with heavyweight?
Yeah, let's go for it. I was looking through the things and I didn't realize that I didn't take a picture of the whole bracket. I only took pictures of the parts that we were in, so yeah. I won't know who those other Hawkeyes are.
Because I can definitely click, and I'm at heavyweight right now. But as for Ben Cuter, who had a really rough season, I mean, 18-6, he had to wrestle the number 1 ranked guy, the number 2 ranked guy, the number 3 ranked guy, but he managed to get a couple top 10 wins. He did beat Ohio State's. Where are you? Ohio. He did manage a couple top 10 wins, which landed him the number 5 seed. Beginning of the season, I did not think he could be an All-American, but right now he is set up. He can be.
Okay. So that brings us to question. Okay, he's got the 5 seed. All right.
Okay.
He got the better seed than I thought he could, but he way overperformed his seed in the Big Tens.
Yes.
I believe he had the 11 seed in the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken.
He had the number 7 seed because remember he wrestled Penn State's Penn State's he got the 3 seed here. I'm going fast. Greg Kirkovich of Penn State, 18-1.
Okay.
He pinned him.
All right. See if you could figure out who the other Hawkeye is that I'm thinking about.
Oh man. That'd be really challenging.
I know it probably would be. It was probably, you know what? There's this guy who posts nothing but Hawkeye wrestling in my page. It might be there.
Oh, look him up.
I'm going to right now.
Okay. But as for Ben, I mean, he could meet in the quarterfinals Owen Treffin of Lehigh, 21-0. So, I mean, the good thing is that's not a Big Ten wrestler, so someone different. But I'm not sure how big this guy is or how much of a challenge it would be. But let's say if he manages to make it to semis, he's going up against Gable Stevenson. So that's where it's going to stop. He's going to more than likely stop.
Okay. All right. While I'm doing this, could you talk about what your opinion is of the current state of Hawkeye wrestling and your position on Tom Brands? You know, do we give him more time? Do we pull a Fran? Does she go in and pull a Fran and get rid of him?
Now, I told you last time we need to see how well they perform at nationals.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe they're gonna place in the top 5. If they get 3 finalists, which could be Drake Ayula, Michael Caliendo, and Stephen Buchanan, I think they're gonna go. They have a good chance to get 2nd place if they get 3 in the finals and maybe get 6 All-Americans. But if Iowa falls outside the top 5, I think that's going to be grounds for, getting canned.
Okay. All righty. Do you think she will take the time to talk to Dan Gable first, before she makes a decision? I mean, there are going to be a lot of wrestling boosters who put out a lot of money for 3 transfers last year that aren't performing. And I guess we have to wait and see if they perform like they're supposed to.
I think Dan Gable is just going through another phase of his life. I mean, I think, and people can ask him for his opinion. He'll give his honest opinion. But I mean, with Tom Brands, just got to keep in mind the reason why they brought Tom Brands in back in 2006 because Jim Zaleski, I mean, he inherited pretty much the Roman Empire and just collapsed on him. I mean, because back in 2000, I got it right here. Yeah, I would place 7th, 66 points. I mean, not even a national champion. And that's when you have Oklahoma State winning it with 5 national champions, 153 points. But, I mean, that's the worst performance we had in a very, very long time. So if Brands doesn't perform within the top 5, I think it'd be legit argument to, letting him go.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to see that. I do know that Dan Gable was watching his grandson play baseball for Iowa. I think it was either in Texas or Florida, and the next day was back at the Big Ten Wrestling Championships.
Yeah, he still definitely gets involved. People will seek out his wisdom, like, how'd you do it? And
oh yeah, he's always there. He looks like, oh yeah, this guy, I like this guy. We need to get him on the show sometime. Sam Steffen. He is a storm chaser, and he's been wanting to come on the show. I've been wanting to get him, but he keeps dodging my bullets. So Sam, we got to do we're getting into storm chasing season. We need you. We need to get you on a show. But yeah, I did remember that this guy was his great uncle or something. So,
but recent years, the fair criticism you can give to Tom Brands is, why aren't you developing your wrestlers better? Why are they coming into the national tournament looking like they're all banged up? You see straps on and everything. Some examples. You have Austin DeSantos, who I think 4-time All-American, but the best he could ever do was third. I think he got third 3 times in a row. Just never could make it to the finals. And he gets surpassed by Penn State's Bravo Young.
What about Spencer Lee his last year? We thought he was a shoe-in for a national title. But he ended up medically forfeiting after he lost.
Okay, so there's some kind of line between where you have to blame the athlete and you can't really blame the coach.
I'm blaming the athlete in this point.
Yes, because Mr. Lee, the last 30 seconds of that match, he had the advantage. He was on top. He was up by, I believe, 2 points, and that was against Matt Ramos. This is Matt Ramos' final year. He's got the number 2 seed at 125, but Matt Ramos, he just wanted more. He got the escape, he got the takedown, and he got the pin.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam says he'll check his calendar. He'll pencil me in for August, I think.
Oh, let's watch this.
We'll have to do football with him then.
There's other wrestlers too, like Michael Kimmerer, the 174-pounder. He got second, and who lost to Carter Starachi when Carter Starachi was a freshman. And this was 2021, the year right after COVID, the year that Iowa did win the national tournament, the last time they won the national tournament. But the year after that, he got fourth. And then you got the bull, trying to remember his name, Marinelli.
Martinelli, yeah.
There we go.
I think there's a good Big Ten Network had a good journey story on those Martinelli and Austin DeSanto. And
I love his shirt that says what was his shirt? Jesus is I just forgot what the shirt was. I just like Jesus trained. That was his t-shirt that he always wore around.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's good to know that. Good to know that. Okay.
And even Tony Capopi, he's been there for so long. He just could never make it to the finals himself. And I think the best he ever did was third. And then he got in trouble with the gambling stuff too, with Nelson Brands. But that's kind of Tom Brand's problem. He's just not doing. He's not developing these wrestlers. We've only had two national champions from Iowa, Spencer Lee and Ramos. Ramos dating back to 2017?
Yeah. So are we overworking our wrestlers? We're working them too hard. Are we not working them hard enough? Because our guys do seem to get hurt a lot more than you see on the other teams. When was the last time you saw a Penn State wrestler hurt?
No, they look fresh. Penn State does look like they're fresh and ready for battle when it comes to the postseason. Guys, they look old. They look beaten up. They look worn down. But that could be part of the Brands. Maybe that's how they that's how they trained back when they were in college.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to do after the Nationals is over is come back on here, but see if we can get Chuck Gagler to join us.
Oh, that'd
give us give us a little insight. I know he gave me a little insight on how the seedings were projected, and the rankings were only part of it, not all of it. And he basically said a formula that doesn't make any sense to him.
Yeah. I'll take his word, man. But usually there's more than one ranking. Like I like to use Intermat just because Intermat seems to be more accurate compared to Boschia, and there's other Flow Wrestling.
Yeah, okay. And so, just so everybody knows that the preliminaries are at 11 a.m. I believe that's Central Time on Thursday.
On Thursday, that's when it begins. As long as they keep winning, there should be only 2 matches on Thursday. Then when you get to Friday, I believe noon's going to be about the noon or 11. It'll be the quarterfinals. Then in the evening is going to be the semifinals. Then Saturday is going to be all about the All-American placing, and Saturday night's going to be the championship round.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The prelims are 11 o'clock, ESPNU and ESPN Plus. You can go to ESPN Plus to get your specific match, so you can find out which Hawkeye is. So you go to the Plus to pick your Hawkeye match if you want to. ESPNU, you're just stuck with whatever they decide to show you.
Yeah.
You know, I do know that they try to get around, like BTN tried to get around to all the matches, but I don't think they did a good job. Yeah, he says we can do storm chasing and preview in August football.
Awesome.
He's going to be busy chasing tornadoes, I got a feeling.
There you go.
Okay, then Thursday. Then there's a 6 p.m. round of 16. So we're going to be in the round of 16 already come Thursday night at 6 p.m.
And after the round of 16, you'll probably have a good idea where Iowa may place. Usually, I expect Penn State to pull away team-wise after the quarterfinals because we'll see how many Penn State wrestlers make it to the semis.
Now, here's something that's kind of sad. Consolation rounds, 10 a.m. on ESPNU, ESPN Plus, Saturday, March 22nd. Also, an hour later, or maybe it's actually an hour earlier, the women's basketball team plays their first game in the tournament on the regular ESPN.
Thursday is going to be a really busy day for college wrestling and college basketball.
Yeah, if you're a big college basketball fan, whether Iowa's playing or not, Thursday's going to be huge. You got to make some choices. Friday, the same way that the women join in starting on Friday. The women and the men and the wrestling. So it's going to be busy. You got to pick your poison.
Yeah,
I'm going to be picking wherever there's a conflict. I'm going to pick the women's basketball, but that's the only conflict all day that I have on Saturday because women won't play again until Monday if they win. By the way, just in case you guys haven't heard, I will tell you now. Kylie Feuerbach has decided to come back for her 6th year. I'm not sure I'm happy about that, but she's coming back, so got to deal with it. I just think it takes playing time away from this year's freshman and Taylor McCabe. I could see this chasing Taylor McCabe to the portal. I really do, because I think the freshmen are earning their playing time this year for next year. And I think the freshmen are going to be our super softs next year. But, I will talk with Molly, and I don't know if we're going tomorrow night or the following night. I think we're going Thursday night. And the sad thing is Molly and we've been trying to do this for a couple days, and we never got it done because yesterday was St. Patty's Day. She decided to celebrate green. Yeah.
Well, as always, it's going to be a tournament I'm going to be looking forward to.
Let's see. All right, I'm coming back for my 29th year in July of being a disappointed Hawkeye fan. Does that mean he's going to be 29 years old? Because I don't think he's that old. So you must be 29. Sam must be 29 or going to be 29. Oh, okay. Well, what do you think? You think we beat this horse to a dead beat?
I think it's pretty dead.
Okay. I think we gave the people what they're looking for.
Yeah.
The casual fan, we didn't bore him too much. And he turns 29 in July.
Okay, out of curiosity, was the former Hawkeye MJ Gadden? Was the former Hawkeye wrestler MJ Gadden?
That doesn't sound right to me.
Okay. Well, he's an Iowa State wrestler, so 23 seed, 69.
There isn't one. There is one at Iowa State, and there's one. I think there was 2 at South Dakota State or South Dakota. I can't remember, or 1 at each.
Yeah, I can look that up real quick. South Dakota State.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to go to their website and look at the roster, right?
Yeah, that's all. Instead of doing it the way I'm doing it.
What are you doing? Okay, did you go to
weight class and just going real quick. You got North Dakota State. Kyle Berwick. Oh, there's a Derek Cardinal of South Dakota State, but 19 and 14. But anyways, it's time to sign off.
Well, hang on for a second. Alrighty. None of these names seem familiar. From Iowa State. Evan Frost, Zach Reading, Julian Burson, David Carr. Is David Carr still there? Oh yeah, that's this year's wrestling roster.
No, David Carr, he's not on the roster. I mean, I'm surprised. Is he a coach?
I don't know. Here's the thing. They're not giving me the whole wrestling roster. Let me see if I do this, if I can go to it real quick. Because I thought we had somebody in the Big Tens wrestling each other too. A former Hawkeye wrestling a former Hawkeye. Well, we're not going to bore the people. I can't figure it out. Just keep watching my webpage up there on Facebook, and I'll add it there.
And sometime between tomorrow and Thursday morning, I will post my predictions of all the finals of each weight class on your Facebook page.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Ready to get out of here?
Yep.
Let's end this puppy.